Burlesque was once the heartbeat of vintage nightlife, a glittering spectacle of feathers, humor, and sensuality that defied convention long before Hollywood dared to. From the smoky stages of the 1920s to the neon glow of the 50s, its queens reigned supreme. Women who turned tease into an art form and rebellion into applause. Names like Gypsy Rose Lee, Tempest Storm, Starr, and Lili St became legendary, not just for performances, but for their lives filled with glamour, scandal, and often tragedy. Today we're exploring the most famous vintage burlesque stars and how they died. Gypsy Rose Lee. Gypsy Rose Lee was the undisputed queen of burlesque during the 30s and 40s. Born Rose Louise Hovick in 1911, she rose from the chaos of a domineering stage mother and struggling vaudeville acts to become a sophisticated icon of wit and sensuality. Her act was never vulgar. It was clever, coy, and self-aware. Gypsy transformed striptease into an art form, layering her performances with humor and intelligence. Audiences weren't just watching a body, they were listening to a storyteller. Her rise was immortalized in the Broadway musical and subsequent film Gypsy, which captured her unique blend of charm and irony. Offstage, she lived a life that mixed glamour with danger. She rubbed shoulders with politicians, mobsters, and literary figures alike. During World War II, she entertained troops and even wrote mystery novels, proving she was more than a pretty face. Yet behind her confidence lay constant struggles for control and identity, lingering from her chaotic childhood. Her relationships were often tumultuous, and her health began to fade in the 1960s. She died in 1970 at age 59 from lung cancer, a condition worsened by her long history of smoking. Lili St. Lili St. Cyr, born Marie Frances Van Schaak in 1918, was known as America's most beautiful stripper. Her act was pure spectacle, bathtub routines, elaborate props, and stunning costumes that made her shows feel more like Broadway productions than burlesque numbers. She was the high priestess of erotic elegance, performing in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and Montreal to sold-out crowds. Even Hollywood was obsessed with her allure, inspiring characters in films like The Night They Raided Minsky's. But fame came with a price. Lili's beauty attracted powerful men and equally intense scandals. She was arrested multiple times for indecency, though her routines were more suggestive than explicit. Behind the glamour, she battled depression and loneliness, often retreating into isolation between performances. She married 6 times, each ending in heartbreak or financial ruin. By the 1960s, burlesque was dying, and so was her career. Stripped of the spotlight, she faded into obscurity and financial struggle. In 1999, she took her own life at age 80 in Los Angeles. Tempest Storm. Tempest Storm embodied the golden age of burlesque like few others. Born Annie Blanche Banks in 1928, she began performing in her 20s and quickly gained fame for her flaming red hair and voluptuous figure. Known as the girl with the fabulous front, she became one of the most photographed women of the 50s. Her popularity even rivaled that of Marilyn Monroe, and the two were often compared in gossip columns. Tempest's love life was as headline-grabbing as her career. She was romantically linked to Elvis Presley, John F. Kennedy, and Howard Hughes, among others. Unlike many of her contemporaries, she managed her finances carefully and controlled her brand with business savvy. She continued performing well into her 70s, a feat unheard of in her industry. Her confidence and charisma kept audiences mesmerized for decades. Despite her longevity, Tempest's later years were marked by pain and reflection. She spoke openly about her difficult childhood, marked by abuse and poverty. In interviews, she credited burlesque with saving her life, saying it gave her independence and self-worth. She died in 2021 at age 93, reportedly of natural causes. Blaze Starr. Blaze Starr's story reads like a Hollywood movie. Born Fanny Bell Fleming in 1932, she began performing at a young age and became famous for her bold, humorous routines and trademark red hair. But what truly made her a legend was her love affair with Louisiana Governor Earl Long, which scandalized 1950s America. Blaze wasn't just a performer, she was a woman who refused to apologize for her sexuality or her choices. Her shows were theatrical masterpieces, often involving props like exploding couches or trained animals. She was known for her quick wit as much as her beauty. Blaze's relationship with Long was immortalized in the 1989 film Blaze, starring Paul Newman. While the movie dramatized the affair, it captured the essence of her fiery spirit. After retiring from performing, she opened a jewelry store in Baltimore and lived quietly. She remained proud of her past, never renouncing her burlesque roots. She died in 2015 at age 83 after a heart attack. Sally Rand. Sally Rand was born Helen Beck in 1904 and became famous during the 1933 Chicago World's Fair when she performed her iconic fan dance using large ostrich feathers to strategically conceal her body. The act was both scandalous and mesmerizing, a daring statement on art and sensuality during the conservative Depression era. Arrested multiple times for indecency, Sally defended her performances as artistic expression and won over both judges and audiences. Before burlesque, Sally had a brief Hollywood career, even appearing in silent films directed by Cecil B. DeMille. But it was on stage where she made her mark. Her acts blended mime, dance, and illusion, elevating burlesque beyond striptease into performance art. By the 1940s, she was a household name, embodying glamour with a defiant edge. But she struggled financially in her later years, often performing in small clubs to make ends meet. She died in 1979 at age 75 from heart failure, still performing just weeks before her death. And Corio. And Corio, born in 1909, was one of burlesque's most enduring performers and entrepreneurs. She began performing in the 1920s and quickly gained fame for her sophisticated routines that balanced humor and sensuality. Unlike many of her peers, she saw burlesque as both an art and a business. When the traditional burlesque circuit began to fade, she reinvented it for a new generation. In the 1940s, she took her show This Was Burlesque on tour, reviving the old routines with a mix of nostalgia and camp. The show ran for decades, eventually becoming a book and television special. And Corio died in 1999 at age 90 from pneumonia. Her passing went largely unnoticed by mainstream media, but those who knew her work recognized her as one of the last great matriarchs of the art form. Zorita. Zorita, born Catherine Boyd in 1915, was one of burlesque's most exotic and controversial stars. Her signature act featured live snakes, including her pet boa constrictors Elmer and Oscar, which she would drape around her body as she performed. Her personal life was as wild as her stage persona. She was openly bisexual, married twice, and fiercely independent. She often clashed with authorities who accused her of lewdness, though she saw her performances as art. Her confidence and eccentricity made her a cult icon, influencing modern performances like Dita Von Teese. After retiring, she ran nightclubs and trained younger dancers. She died in 2001 at age 85. Candy Barr. Candy Barr, born Juanita Dale Slusher in 1935, was a force of nature in the 50s burlesque scene. Known for her petite frame and daring routines, she was one of the first performers to become a crossover celebrity thanks to Scandal. Her early life was troubled. She was a runaway, exploited in the adult industry, and imprisoned on dubious charges. But she reinvented herself through burlesque, commanding stages in Dallas and Las Vegas with a mix of innocence and danger. She was rumored to have ties to mobsters, befriended Jack Ruby, who later killed Lee Harvey Oswald, and dated powerful men in Hollywood. Despite her notoriety, Candy always maintained she was an entertainer, not a criminal. She died of pneumonia in 2005 at age 70. Now it's time to hear from you. Who's your favorite of the legendary burlesque stars? Let us know in the comments section below.